Good morning, everyone. Firstly, thank you, Father Louis and Porgin Clancy, for giving me this opportunity to speak with you all today. A few weeks ago, I asked Father Louis could I plant fruit trees in his front garden. I'm part of a group that has planted more than 100 apple, pear and plum trees in public and private spaces around Inchicore the past month. And I thought Father Louis' perfectly manicured green grass was an ideal location for an orchard. So why are we planting fruit trees? In my mind, a fruit tree does a lot of work when we are talking about the environment. Already we are seeing the miracle of the first buds appearing on the trees we planted. In a matter of weeks, their blossoms will feed hungry bees coming out of hibernation. Once the bees and other pollinators have done their work, the fertilized blooms will grow into apples, pears, and plums, and I will show my daughter the small fruits growing and ripening. At the end of the summer, our community orchard will be ready for harvest. Everyone I've spoken to while planting has memories of picking fruit as a child, hopping a wall to steal the neighbor's apples from his garden, or scouring brambles for plump blackberries. We remember the sweetness of that connection with nature and lament how fruit in the supermarket never tastes as good. By planting these trees, our children will have the opportunity to experience the thrill of picking and tasting fruit straight from the branch. They will observe how the trees grow, how the leaves turn in the autumn and scatter to the ground and nourish the roots. They will witness the rebirth of spring and the dazzling green of summer. And they will learn how we are dependent on the smallest creatures, pollinators like birds, bees, bats, butterflies, moths, and beetles, for our very survival. And this is why I'm seeking the help of the wider community. Ireland's pollinators are in crisis due to the way we live, farm, and use pesticides. There are currently 98 species of bees in Ireland, and about a third of them are going extinct. The number and variety of birds filling our community with colour and song has been decimated. It is most likely my daughter will never hear a corncrake, a curlew, or a cuckoo, sounds that my parents and grandparents recall with great affection. I believe Inchicore can be a model for how we can make space for nature, even in an urban setting. Some of this work is easy and just requires a shift in our own thinking. Many of us have bought into the idea that dandelions, docks, and daisies are weeds and that gardens should be neat and tidy. We fight Mother Nature when we could be marveling in the bounty even a small garden can provide. My garden is just a few square feet, and I think it's marvelous. We are growing apples and pears, raspberries, strawberries, onions, potatoes, peas, rosemary, sage, and thyme. But I get just as much pleasure and entertainment from the plants that spring up of their own accord. A year of lockdown has made me a passionate ragwort advocate. Last year, I resisted the temptation to pull the ragged leaves, and their happy yellow blossoms grew 3 feet tall. They brought so many insects into the garden: honeybees, hoverfly, black and yellow rugby jersey caterpillars, and crimson petal-shaped cinnabar moths. 5 years ago, Pope Francis challenged the global church to take care for our common home in his famous letter, Laudato Si. This document has inspired millions of people, Christian and secular, to think again about how, as he puts it, everything is connected. Too often, the environmental catastrophe we are facing is presented in a way that is too complex, too difficult, too depressing. We want to help, but we don't know where to start. For sure, we need the expertise of scientists to guide us, but there are simple ways to help. Planting fruit trees won't make heaven on earth here in Inchicore, but if we cooperate and join up our gardens and street trees, our verges and parks, we will build an interconnected wildlife corridor full of food and shelter for our pollinators. Pope Francis has said, "Because all creatures are connected, each must be cherished with love and respect, for all of us as living creatures are dependent on one another." We need to take care of our pollinators because we and the bees, we are in this together. The people of Dublin, we're in this together. I can think of no better way to express our belief in this than to get involved as a community in practical steps to make our neighbourhood a better place to live. So please let your gardens grow. If you are lucky to have a tree in your garden or on your street, cherish it. If you would like me to plant one in your garden, please get in touch with Porrig and Clancy and I will show up with my shovel. If you don't have a garden, ask your local authority to make space for nature in parks and verges. You will also find lots of great resources in this document, Gardening for Biodiversity, a free guide available online and through your council. Thank you again for giving me the time to speak. And please, please, for the love of bees, don't waste your money on pesticides. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Lauren, for your inspiring talk. I must say, when Lauren and the rest of our group gathered outside our house to plant a tree, it was an inspiring sight, actually, to see young parents with their children helping them planting the trees. It was a bitterly cold day, so I was looking at them through the window. But it was great to see the excitement of the children being involved as well. So thank you very much, Lauren.